Well, welcome everybody to Connected Tools the Right Way. We are here today to talk about a number of different topics around integrations and really how to get the most out of them based on the experience from Magic Button Labs. Now, I'm Brandon Huff, the head of sales, and joined today by Ethan Folks, the founder of Magic Button Labs. And Magic Button Labs really brings the tools, the expertise, and the know-how to Monday.com to help all of our clients get the most out of it. And we do that with proven best practices, enablement, and ongoing support. And while Ethan and I have decades in the enterprise SaaS tooling space, uh, Magic Button Labs has really focused on Monday.com for the last 4 years because of its ease of use, client satisfaction, and honestly, powerful integrations, which we'll talk about today. So let's jump in. Today, we're going to talk about making Monday.com your command central and trying to pull in your other tools. We'll talk about some of the integration options and things to consider as you look at them. And then we'll finish it off today with some of the best practices and architectural considerations to help make sure that your integrations are set up the right way. So lots of different pieces here, but what this isn't today is a deep dive into any one integration, how it works, the other pieces. We'll be doing more videos on those later. However, today we're just going to focus on more the high level and understanding where does this fit in? What do I need to consider as we look at this space? Now, this screen here may look familiar to many of our clients. We know we've certainly talked about it. Commonly called SaaS overload. You have a lot of products, a lot of services in different places, data spread out across all of it, and little bits everywhere that you know you need to manage your business. This is a common problem, and we see it in all kinds of places. And we really need to find a way to leverage this data in a way where you can make the most of it. So where we've had a lot of experience is trying to bring all these tools together into Monday.com, really making it your command central so that you can manage the work in one place, not have to bounce around between tools, and pass the data back and forth in an intelligent way to help take better actions, have better visibility, and not have to waste time. And so it's a very powerful part, and we do this in a lot of different ways, but really those integrations and how you set them up do need some care and consideration to move towards this sort of model. There's lots of different pieces of where you manage your work, what is the best place to manage that work, and other items that are really important for how you approach it. Now, as we look at Monday.com, they have some very specific integrations that help make that possible. And there's really a few different kinds of integrations that they have. There's some built-in Monday.com, we call them connectors, that are provided by Monday.com to help connect with some of the most common apps out there. We have dedicated third-party applications that help connect them not through Monday.com and their own built-in ones, but through their own applications and passing between the API. And then we have the third option we'll briefly talk about today, no-code or low-code automation tools like Zapier, Make.com, things like that, that are a little bit more advanced and for scenarios that the first two options may not solve for you. So as we go through that, there's some integration options, and let me jump into our demo. Now, over here in our demo instance, we'll show you more about our structure here, or Ethan will at least, in just a few minutes. But I want to highlight a couple different areas of how we look at our integrations. So in here, we're in Monday CRM, just to orient us here. We obviously need to look at the integrate button. And this is available on each individual board. You will need the right permissions. But as you're set up here, you'll notice as you come into integrate, some of the most common ones, and these are those built-in ones from Monday, but not all of them here. And you can go to more integrations. Once you bring this up, you're going to be a pop-up inside of the window when you're looking at CRM, Monday CRM, different connectors and integrations here. You'll see the most common ones down here that are built in by Monday, but you may see some other ones that you don't see. For example, let's look for QuickBooks. So as we look for QuickBooks, you'll notice we get a couple different options, 6 results found. We see QuickBooks here, some of the connectors and templates, and another app. And this may be plenty for what we're looking for, but let's take a look at that QuickBooks connector. So this is one, again, done by Monday, and you'll notice it includes some basic templates that you can use, but only 4. So it's somewhat limited, and that's intentional by nature. And these are templates you can add into your integration and automation, either in columns or through different actions that we can use. So let's look at one of these here. When a product or service is created, create a QuickBooks account, a QBO. And this is a sample of what you're going to see inside of your board. Notice again, this is a pre-built template. This isn't really functional on the board. This is just highlighting how it works. But you'll notice that really walks you through the basics here. But there's one very important item. This is really creating a portal connection. You need to have access between both Monday and whatever tool you're going to be integrating with. So as you look at QuickBooks here, I need to connect to a QuickBooks account, and that will imply that I have access. As a regular user, I don't have access. I can't do this. So you'll need to think through who does. Do we have the right service account set up to do that? Can one person do it for the benefit of many? And there's lots of different aspects to that. So certainly something to think about as we do these connections. Who has access? What is the right access? What data is shared as you go through it? Now let's go back with what we were looking at before and give you one other example. Let's take a look at something like PagerDuty, a technical tool not really intended for CRM. And in fact, it says right here, switch to Monday Dev. So Monday is going to automatically navigate you to products for the product, for add-ons and integrations for the products that you have through this sort of navigation. So as you look at this, again, these are just the Monday ones. They all operate the same way as templates as you go, but you may have something that is not listed. So what do? We can come back to more integrations one more time. And let's say you need some sort of digital signature. Well, if we look for that, you get a couple apps, marketplace apps, Fill Faster, DocuGen, and there's only 3 here. What if you have another tool or aren't quite sure what you're looking for? Well, we can go to the Explore Apps Marketplace, and we'll pop up here a new window and bring up the entire Monday Marketplace. And from here, we can look at everything across all the tools. Notice we're already filtering by CRM because we came from CRM. You can look at it by features you're looking for, anything free or paid, by a developer. All the Monday.com ones can be here as well, and you can go through that. But what if, again, we say, you know what, show me signature. Well, now we have 21 results. We have quite a few more, and we start seeing maybe some other products you're looking for. PandaDoc, DocuSign, and again, DocuGen popped up. That's the best seller. But how do we determine which of these is the right product for you? Well, you need to use a little bit of research into each of them, but some of them are real easy to find. So things like ratings, so 2.4 for both of these, and things like downloads. So that's this little section right here that highlights how many we have. So if we look at these, DocuGen has as many downloads, actually more, than both PandaDoc and DocuSign combined, which is probably why it's its bestseller with a very good rating of 4.7. So let's jump into this. Now, we happen to have this one installed, something we use, but we wanted to highlight a few things. How often do they update their versions? How long has the product been around? What about other details and information we have? This is where you're going to get in to start researching. Does this do what I need it to do? Notice from the surface here, you can't really tell. You're going to have to either install it and play with it, or go to some of their support documentation to research. So there isn't really such a thing as, does it just do the thing you put it in? You need to do some research and look at the different pieces here to find out, how does it work? What are the facts to go through that? And so for many of our clients, we do spend time testing and putting these in so that they can see how it works. Are you getting the right result? Is it in the right way? Are we passing the right data to make sure that these sorts of integrations work? So we do encourage you to be considerate of those items as you go through it. But what if, as you go through this, you realize there's something I still need and it's not on the marketplace? What do I do? Well, there's other integrations available that now we call low-code or no-code integrations. Here's make.com that we also use. Zapier is another one people may have seen that leverages some of the more advanced functionality and connectors into how you do it. So this is the Monday.com setup, and you can get a lot of things, some of which can be automated, but now we can automate it using the other tools. As data is passed, it can create new items. It can move it through your workflow, do things not currently possible in Monday with some more advanced pieces here. Now, we're not going to dive into this too far today, but it's just wanted you to know of the third option. Should you not find it in the other two, you may need to look into these third-party low-code and no-code apps to be able to jump into it. So with that, we have those 3 options, and it's an important part. But as we go through that, we need to look at, well, how do we set it up? Which of the ones should I use? And what are some of the considerations we have? And so with that, I want to pass it over to Ethan to talk about some of the architectural considerations and other items we need to consider before jumping into that demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for walking us through that. This is, for me, the fun part. I love this topic. So we'll kick off with this quote, which is really one of the key takeaways that I want you all to have from this. So The right architecture for integrations at scale is actually the exact same architecture that will maximize your value within Monday.com, even if you aren't doing integrations. So one of the favorite things I like to say, and the team likes, is we build it for us so we can give it to you. So I'm going to show you some of that architecture that we've pre-built, that we use for ourselves and also for all of our clients. And what that really architecture is, and this is true of all tools, is even or especially these hyper flexible tools like Monday that can do anything, is that they still have a way that they want to work, which I like to describe as swimming downstream instead of swimming upstream. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And so the built it for us so we can give it to you, that comes out of this experience that we've all had here at Magic Button Labs. So I've been building interconnected systems in various ecosystems inside of companies and as a consultant for at least a decade. And I've kind of learned three things on that journey, right? So the first thing is, over time, as you do more and more of what Brandon just walked you through, what's actually happening is you're going to become dependent on many different vendors because each one is providing a bit of your solution. And that can be good, but that can also be a thing that you have to manage over time. The second thing is, and Brandon kind of showed you this a little bit, is each of these portal apps, they do what they do, but then they don't do the other things. So they can't necessarily do exactly what you want them to do in any given situation, right? So you get what you get. And then lastly, and this was the thing that I really learned on the journey, is you can't see the pathways between the tools that Brandon was just showing. It feels like magic. I just click a thing and a thing happens, but you can't see the pathways. And not just as a builder and admin, but the users can't see the pathways. And so what feels like magic at the start of the journey starts to feel confusing to users as you add more and more integrations. So rather than taking it from the view that Brandon was just showing, which is I'm using Monday, I have a problem or a need. I think I could do an integration with another tool. How do I do that integration? I want to completely flip the script. I want to step back and I want to say what would it look like to have a foundation in place to simply integrate with all of your tools at the start of an intake process, right? So that's what I'm going to share. Cool. Brandon, you want to, oh, yeah, perfect. So things to be looking for as I walk through what I'm about to show you. I'm gonna hone in on having crystal clarity on the difference between a workflow board and a master data board, which in Monday, a board is a board. It's just how you use them. But having that distinction is key to a scalable architecture. And then hopefully you all know and are using Monday's two-way mirror columns between boards. But if not, I'm going to show it to you. But also I want to key in that scalable integration architecture uses the exact same thing. It just pulls in data and then you mirror it. And then what you'll see is I'm then leveraging a service account to do these things. So as Brandon said, oh, but I don't have access to a QuickBooks account. Doesn't matter. We're going to set up one protected service account. It's going to do all the things. And then Brandon doesn't need a QuickBooks account or a DocuSign account or any of these other tools. So you can save money on licensing, do things faster. And what we're using here is this no-code, low-code automation tools, things like we love make.com, but we also use tools like Zapier, and there's N8N, there's a whole slew of them out there. But what that means is there's actually just a singular integration native to Monday called a webhook, where you just say, hey, when this happens in Monday, I want to send something over to one of these integration no-code, low-code tools and have it do something. So that's what I'm going to show you. All right. What does good look like? You want to let me share, Brandon? Perfect. Thank you.
There you go.
And I'm going to share my browser here. And what I'm going to start with before I show our demo instance, I'm going to show a 30-second video of what does it look like to have the pathways created at the start of the intake process. You can do this with many things when a new employee joins, when you start a new strategic project. Those are common intake triggers as well. But one of the most common is we sell to other companies or people. So there's an intake process. And so that aligns very well with the CRM tool. And so let's just look at what that looks like. Click play. So you see, all we're doing is pressing a button, or not even pressing the button, just saying when the first deal closes for the first time, go and create a home in all the other tools that we use, and then send back a link to the home for me so I can just click it and jump directly to the tool. And this actually just Just this single pattern gives you a bunch of wins. If Brandon's doing his job, he no longer has to figure out who's the admin, call, send an email. He doesn't have to stop what he's doing, waiting for something to get created. He just carries on and moves on with his work, which is fantastic. So, but then we can do cool things over those pathways that I just showed you. So let's take a look at our instance. So I'm in the same demo instance Brandon was showing, and you'll see here that I'm using folders to indicate what are my workflow boards, which in the case of our CRM are targets, leads, and opportunities. And I'm going to focus on the opportunities board. And then what are our master data boards? For us, organizations, the products and services we sell, contacts, the people we work with, and referrers that send clients to us, right? So those are our master data boards. And the difference here is a workflow board is something where you do a workflow. Like we process something through this, we create it, we work it, and then it's done and out of the workflow, versus master data is just static. It's just, well, not static, but it's standard. There's one entry. It's always there because it's a master data home. So I'm going to start with looking at our organizations board. And what you'll see here is there's going to be one home for every company. It's created as part of the intake process. And you'll see some basic native Monday information that we're storing in Monday. What's their domain? Who are the contacts that we know about? What industry are they in? Description, number of employees, headquarters, accounting email. What's the source? Okay. How many deals have we won with them? So that's our native Monday data. But if I come over here, that video I just showed you, here's the equivalent of that. We've got 4 tools: QuickBooks, DocuSign, Clockify, and the Fathom video recorder that we love to use. And so if I look at this, you can even see it created the home in QuickBooks, and it knows the ID is 167. So even if we change the name, we still know where that pathway is over to that tool. And because we have that pathway, now I can pull back over into Monday any master data that I want Monday to be aware of. So let's look at the connected data that I'm pulling in from those tools. So I'm in real time, always showing in Monday, are they current? Are we awaiting a payment, or is the customer past due? What's the lifetime billing dollars that we've received from this customer? Those 2 come from QuickBooks. From DocuSign, we're sending over, do we have a mutual NDA in place? Is it signed, or has it expired? Is it sent? Or here's a button, just press it and it will send it. So that's one of our magic buttons. That's coming from DocuSign. From Clockify, our time tracking tool, how many unbilled hours have we worked that need to be billed at the start of the month? And then from Fathom, what's the last meeting that we recorded? When was that? So there's just examples of high-level data. What I want you to take home is there's a pathway, and we can pull any data back over to the master data board. So what that means is now in the organizations board, I have my native Monday data. I have my connections, my homes to view any of the other tools for that customer or that customer inside of any other tools. And we have data that we've pulled over across that pathway. And so now the teams can start to interact with this data very easily through any of the workflow boards. So let's take the opportunities board, and let's imagine that we are selling a second engagement to Apex. So I come in here and I type Apex phase 2. And now the first thing it wants me to fill out is what's the organization. So I've created a 2-way mirror between this board and the organization board, and I just have to select Apex Innovations and watch what happens with the next 3 fields. Boom. It pulls in the native Monday data, number of employees, and who are the contacts. And it also pulls in, do we have a mutual NDA? So now we don't have to wonder, are we already under NDA? Has it expired? It's right here. We can tell the client we're good to go. We can even download it and send it to them if they haven't kept it. Furthermore, I can drill into this item and take a look. I configured this detailed panel to pull in more data from the organizations board. Those fields, as well as payment status, lifetime dollars, any data that's relevant to a salesperson in the sales workflow, we can pull in either on the main board or the detailed view, which is quite magical. And again, I want to stress, if Brandon, like you said, doesn't have access to QuickBooks, but we're showing him everything he needs to see. It's right there at his fingertips. All right, so that is one workflow board interacting with one master data board. But as I think you all know, what happens when we're done with our work, we're handing it off to somebody downstream that needs to do the next thing. Okay. And so for us, when we sell a customer, whether it's the first time or the second or the 10th, we're going to hand it off to our delivery team. And so what I'm going to do here in a moment is I'm going to show you my work management tab where the delivery team does their daily work, but I want to show you how a handoff works and then how it interacts with master data. So for us, this is our sales workflow. It's pretty simple. We either qualify it as a lead or we do a manual entry like I just did. There's in progress, and then they say they intend to move forward. Back office closed one. So as soon as it gets to intent or beyond, it's still in the sales workflow. But what happens is I create something over here in the work management tool. So let's jump over here. This is Monday's portfolio feature in work management. So what that means is this is the high level home. You notice, I don't know if you caught that, but upcoming just went from 4 to 5 because Apex just showed up here. But I first want to show you what it looks like to the delivery team. Right now, this is our high level command central for our active engagements. We have 18 of them, 6 are in maintain. And I can look here and I can see who's in charge of it, how do they feel about it, what do the tasks look like, plan timeline, all of this high level data. And each of these rows relates to an entire board with all of the details, all the tasks down below. That's another topic for another day. What I want to show you is what happens with the upcoming handoff world. So let's look at that. So you see here, Apex Phase 2 came in automatically. It's linked back to the CRM, so I can pull over data such as is there an SOW and summaries and invoicing statuses, things like that. But Monday also has some really awesome and powerful matching automations. So there's a simple automation up here that says when it comes in, reconnect it to the master data board of Apex Innovations. So I didn't even need to do this time. The handoff did it for me. And you can see I'm showing 2 pieces of data that's going to be relevant to our delivery team. Hey, you might want to click here to launch the folder of all the videos that we have with that customer. So here's an example. That's great. That helps them as they're receiving a handoff. And also their payment status. Is this client current, right? Because I want my delivery team to say, hey, actually, we're going to start, but we really are waiting on payment. And then same pattern. I can drill in here and I can show any other data that's relevant. So, hey, you might also want to know, it may come up, somebody else joins the call. Are we under NDA? Is it safe to share? The delivery team can drill in and be like, yes, we are. Here it is. Here's all the contacts we know about, description. And also, if you're curious, how many unbilled hours are there? So again, this is just some examples in one of our demo instances, but what I want you to take home is that once you have this structure of process boards across multiple tools, right? Because I'm doing a handoff from sales and CRM to work management with our delivery team, but we could also hand off to the service management tool and our services team for post implementation. If there's a dev aspect, the dev tool, all of them interact seamlessly with these master data boards. And now all you have to do, send data back and forth over the pathways you've created. Everyone can visualize it. They can understand what's happening because they can come right to the master data board. They can see things. They can press buttons. It's just a very seamless way to do integrations at scale across literally any tool that you use, as long as it has an open API, which in 2025 is the vast majority of tools that you're probably using. So yeah, that's it. Brandon, you want to take it back and close us out?
Sure thing. So thank you for sharing that, Ethan. I think it highlights some of the power that can be had with those integrations, leveraging those 3 different types of integrations that are available. So I think it's important to see that even just with the integrations, we didn't actually, we needed that architecture in place to help reflect the data in the right place, to use it the right way, mirroring columns, etc. Just a really important aspect of that. So key takeaways from today. We really want to make sure you can use Monday as effectively as possible, and that means trying to make at least portions of it your command central and not just another silo in many SaaS tools you may have. But we need to use the right apps at the right time in the right way with the right architecture to help make sure it's set up the way that you need it to actually support your business and not just pull data in because you can, How is it helping your team be informed? How is it helping them make better decisions, move faster, etc., and also spend less time bouncing between apps and trying to reconcile the differences? So it's an important piece, and this is something we want to help make sure all of our clients can bring together and really get the most out of it. But I want to thank everyone for coming today. And if you missed any details, don't worry. We're going to send out a recording link later on this afternoon. You can check it out on demand. If you do have more questions, hey, how did you do that, Ethan? How did it work? Tell me about the other pieces. You can obviously connect with us on LinkedIn or go to magicbuttonlabs.com and contact us. We'll make sure we respond to you right away. But also be aware we have a Dashboards Done Right on this Thursday at noon Eastern as well. Join us for that one and two more after that next week. And all of this is leading up to Monday's annual conference, Elevate New York City, on September 17th and 18th. So if you are planning on going and haven't registered yet, you can use this code here to get 10% off. And if you do go, please reach out. Let us know. We'd love to connect with you and learn more about your business. But I want to thank you for joining us today, and we will be hopefully seeing you soon on Thursday and next week for more webinars. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.